what I'm feeling for an overall energy for this week is this negative energy that is now being allowed to kind of show itself, or almost like take control in a sense, but for falling flat on its face, as I've talked about in the video. So that seems to be the highlighting energy for this week. And then what I'm getting is by the end of the week, there's more of a collective awareness, maybe more so what is good and what is bad. Just a reminder that this is going to be a mundane and global reading and not at all a sun sign or all signs forecast. Now, let's start here on Sunday, January 11th, 2026. First up on my list here, we're going to have Mercury in this quintile to Saturn. For some reason, I wanted to say Saturn now direct. Saturn's been obviously direct for a bit now, but for some reason, I wanted to say that. Let me just see here, tune in. Okay, it seems like I feel like with the directness, it's maybe with this moving forward aspect of things, and I'm sensing a lot of this Capricornian kind of an energy. Obviously, Saturn rules Capricorn, and we have Mercury in Capricorn, and there's this, what I feel, I almost want to say harshness of communication, but it's not. It's more like almost like setting a verbal boundary, but this almost feels like it's maybe behind closed doors in some way. So now remember, this is mundane, so we're dealing with like the political, economical kind of stuff, and what I get with this is maybe there's either political figures or stuff happening behind closed doors or behind the scenes where there's very much verbal boundaries being put in place in some way. With this Saturn in Pisces, I feel like there's an unknown force that is maybe helping with this in some way. Now, let me just see if I can tune into that a bit more. It's just, it feels like what has really been going on behind the scenes to really help and push in new directions is what is kind of really beginning to help in verbally setting these boundaries to push to have these conversations. It feels like these conversations are separate from what that force is, as that force, behind the scenes force is an influence, but it's setting those verbal boundaries, etc., towards the people that it needs to be set, but it's influencing those things, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I think that's all. Is there anything else with that? It doesn't seem like it. So let's move on to the next thing for today, where we're going to have Venus in square to Chiron here. So Venus at 22 degrees Capricorn, moving towards the end of Capricorn. We'll move into Aquarius by the end of this week. With this square to Chiron, I'm getting that woundedness aspect of Chiron there. It feels like a lot of people that are involved. This feels like people involved that have been hurt in some way. Involved in what? Like, what do you... This... Again, this is mundane, and what I get is this feels like more... It feels more political. Like, political people. I'm not sure if I fully understand what I'm getting here. It's... Can you be more clear, please, on this? Okay, so it seems like with that Venus in Capricorn, it's like there's boundaries. It's setting more of maybe a certain rule or boundary or whatever in place against certain people that have caused harm but this is somehow on like a political level. Okay, and that's relating to what I feel is relating to those who have been hurt, etc., or have been wounded, whatever. It feels like in there, and what they wanted to do that was in essence probably good, but it feels like it hurt their individuality, their sovereignty, or whatever. It's like saying it was almost like hurting their ability to take that appropriate action on their individual level to stand in their own power. And now there's boundaries being set against basically people who were causing that harm. Okay. Will this be like visible to us in some way? Are we going to be able to see? What I get is only maybe a small part of it, if that does occur. But there's a lot more. What I feel like is the bulk of it is existing in a way in which we won't see or understand. But that's what I get with that energy. Okay, so that is the aspects for Sunday the 11th here. Let's move on to Monday the 12th. And then we're going to have, on Monday the 12th, we're going to have Sun in square to Chiron. What do we got with this? It feels like now is a more illuminating what I talked about with the Venus square Chiron. Now, it feels like it might be a bit more dramatic, like in terms of what we see in media or what we see wherever else. It feels like this could be either overblown or encompassed in a way that seems a bit ridiculous. And it's not really going to convey what it really is. Okay? So just keep that in mind. But it's relating to who has been hurt. Okay, but it's going to be thrown into what I get. It's going to be thrown into a way that's going to. It's trying to manipulate people away from what the truth actually is. It's making it public, but it's not actually. It's the truth, but it's not the full truth. It's making it look something other than what it actually is, and obfuscating what is true, what the true situation really is, in whatever way. I don't know how else to articulate that, but that's what I feel with that Sun square Chiron, based on what that Venus square Chiron was, because obviously Venus is still here, right? It's just moved ahead a bit, but that's still. There's a highlighting of that. Now, also on this day, we're going to have this Mercury in semi-square to Black Moon Lilith, now in Sagittarius. It's odd because I get a Lilith energy and then I get it not so intensely. That's with the Mercury semi-square here. What it feels like is an attempt to speak out and say something that is effective, like globally, and that is wanting to almost like call something out, or almost like set a boundary, but then it gets stopped. Any more to this? Mercury semi-square, Black Moon Lilith. It's just what I said. Okay, I'm not getting anything, so I'm just going to move on here. Maybe we'll get more as we go. Mercury is also going to be, in quintile to Neptune. It seems as though it's almost like there's something trying to cover something up with that. with whatever that Mercury was. I honestly don't know I don't get specifics because my guidance has been before that we're meant to experience things. So I get stuff, but I'm not going to get told everything because we're physical beings. We're here for the experience. It's not just about being told that something's going to happen or whatever. Okay, but like I said, it's like something, what I get is this negative aspect. So previously, on the previous day when I talked about Pisces, Neptune with Saturn being there, it was a positive influence. Now what I'm getting is there's a negative influence. So remember, it's how this energy is used, right? So there's positive entities that are using it and negative entities that may be trying to use this energy to influence and affect things. Okay, so what I get is there's a negative energy that's trying to cover something up through maybe what is being said. What I get is with that Lilith energy is she kind of says it for what it is, or speaks out or whatever, and this is on global issues and things, and with the Mercury and Capricorn trying to maybe call somebody out or set a boundary or something like that. But there's something, it feels nefarious and negative that is working behind the scenes to try to ultimately stop that. It's like there's an attempt, we may see that maybe we won't see it at all actually, but something is there either as a distraction or an avoidant or something like that to stop something from occurring in that way. Okay, so that's Monday the 12th. Let's move on to Tuesday the 13th. We're going to have Venus here, slowly approaching the end of Capricorn. It's going to be making aspects to the nodes. Okay, so sorry, I'm just having a look here. Venus is going to be sesqui-square to the south node, and where am I? Semi-square to the north node. Okay. What this feels like is almost, there's certain people that need to be let go of in a practical sense that they're not fitting with where we're moving forward. And so with this sesqui-square here, this is really pushing for that release and let go of maybe, it feels like in a practical sense, like these people were put here for a practical purpose, and not in a positive way, and that needs to be let go of. And then that semi-square to the north node is because there's a new direction here that we're moving in. That semi-square feels easier. It's like we're going in this direction no matter what, and things need to be shifted and changed so that can occur in whatever way. Okay, we're also going to have Mars in Capricorn in square to Chiron now. What I feel is there's, it almost, in a sense, what I got was angry action being taken towards whatever a negative effect that Chiron energy was. It's like taking action towards fixing it, putting in boundaries, setting rules, because we're in Capricorn, okay? And it's that kind of stuff. Boundaries, rules, structures, etc. And it feels like a very stern, almost like saying no, or saying, like this can't happen, or something along those lines, okay? All right, so that's Tuesday the 13th. Let's move to Wednesday the 14th here. We're going to have Mercury now in opposition to Jupiter retrograde here. Okay, we can see Mercury in Capricorn, Jupiter in Cancer. Let's see. It almost feels like there's it's like big things being talked about, but it's like the words that I wanted to say were that hits close to home. these feel like things that need to be re-looked at, looked at again. Jupiter's retrograde. This is almost like stuff that people don't want to talk about, but that we have to talk about, right? It's like those things, like the conversations that you need to have that are serious, that are, you have to deal with this. There may be it could feel intense. It's like having the vision that I got was a conversation with your boss about an issue that has maybe been had with you or with somebody else, and it's something that has to be dealt with. That's the kind of energy that I feel with this. And I feel like with that Jupiter in Cancer, for whatever reason, it hits close to home, but it's something that needs to be discussed. Okay. Anyway, also on this day, we're going to have the Sun now making these same minor aspects to the nodes that Venus did. So there's a sesqui-square to the south node and a semi-square to the north node, okay? What this feels like is it's going to be whatever, it could be related to the Venus aspects, but whatever that has been let go of or something, it's going to be made to look like it was a bad decision when it wasn't. It feels like there's some kind of an energy here that's trying to cover up the truth of what is really going on and make whoever is doing these things look bad, or look like they're the one that is wrong, or something like that. Make it what I'm feeling is they're trying to maintain the status quo, and they don't want the change that is trying to be made, is what I get with this, okay? When the status quo is not good. Let's just put it that way. And it's related to those aspects of Venus aspecting the nodes in the same way. What I get is it's going to be highlighting and talking about whatever has been let go here with that sesqui-square. And in terms of the new direction, it's going to try to kibosh this new direction, when this new direction is actually far more beneficial for us and everything else. But it's trying to, like I said, it's trying to manipulate it and make it seem like it's something that it's not, and make it seem like kind of manipulating everyone into manipulating people into seeing it from a perspective that doesn't actually exist or isn't actually there. What I feel like is it's like watching the news and they don't tell you the full truth, or they tell you things in a way that they want you to hear it and not necessarily the full truth of what is going on. That's what that feels like. Okay, so that is Wednesday the 14th. Let's move on to... How come it's not going to let me move here? Let's do refresh. There we go. Let's move on to Thursday the 15th. There we go. I see, it didn't fully load in the first place. Okay, we're going to have Venus here in sextile to Saturn. Okay, so, let me just tune in here. Venus in sextile to Saturn. Okay, this feels a bit more positive again. What I feel like is there's like new people involved here with that Venus energy, new people involved here that are working to... This feels like they wish to be out in the open to show this, but they're being forced behind the scenes to work on this because of whatever manipulation is trying to occur with whatever is going on. But there's a positivity to this in terms of setting up either structures or boundaries. It feels like there's a structure or a force that is putting up boundaries. I almost want to say putting up a fight, but putting up boundaries and things in place, etc., against that which is trying to against those who have been trying to manipulate things into a perspective that it's not actually that. And basically what I've previously said already for the past couple days, right? Venus is also going to be in trine to Uranus here, Uranus retrograde. Now, okay, excuse me, what do we got with that Venus trine? This doesn't feel very positive, to be honest. This feels like what I get, oddly enough, is there's some negative or nefarious force that is like almost like trying to stop change. What I get with that Uranus and Taurus is that stubbornness of Taurus, where it's trying, there's something here that's like trying to claw back some kind of, okay, is any of this, like I'm saying this, but is any of this actually going to succeed? What I get is no, but there's a process involved in trying to rework and fix what they've been trying to do. Okay, so what I feel like, again, with that Venus in trine, is there's a stubbornness to that shift and change of what it feels like with Uranus, those old things that need to change, but it's what the nefarious energy is doing is trying to use this energy to keep that stuff in place, versus the positive energy that would like to enact change and remove those old things. That would, Uranus is retrograde, remove those old things and enact change for using new people, new etc. to move forward. Now, is that happening? No, because there's a nefarious energy. It's like this almost like a battle or a butting heads, okay? But yeah. So that's Thursday. Let's go to Friday the 16th here. We're going to have Mercury in square to Chiron. Okay. Let's see. Mercury in square to Chiron. This feels very subdued. Like it feels like things are being said and they're hurtful things. It feels like it's coming from a nefarious place. It feels like there's a negative energy that's trying to use this to manipulate, and it's basically hurting people that are trying to do good things. That's really what I feel with that. Okay. We're also on this day going to have Mars in semi-square to the North Node and in sesqui-square to the South Node. Okay. I'm getting like twofold here. I'm getting like this energy is trying to be used by what I want to say is both light and dark, and they're both trying to use it in their own way. Now, the negative side is trying to use this to stop whatever is moving forward, to take action to stop. The light side is trying to use this to release that which, to take action to release that which is no longer serving us. It feels like this goes back as like something messed up previously, and that's why there's this negative energy that is trying to utilize this. And it's almost like the light is taking a step back for a second to, it's not stopping, it's to almost like let this negative energy like think that it has some kind of an opportunity when it doesn't. It's like It's like, okay, like, do what you're gonna do, but you're not gonna win. It's like this. It's like they're gonna fail. And it doesn't matter what they attempt or try to do. It's like, what are you doing? Kind of a thing. Like, it's not. So it almost feels like the light side would have used this to take action towards continuing to get rid of that which is no longer serving us in a practical way, so we can move in this new positive direction. But it almost feels like now they're just like the action is taking a step back and just allowing whatever is unfolding to unfold, to just be like, try as you might, you're not going to win. It's like, it's just like, it's almost like allowing the fish to flounder. And it's just going to be seen as something that's confusing, or what is going on, or whatever. And people are just going to be like, what the fuck? Like, it's almost, in a sense, the negative side shooting themselves in the foot through whatever action they're taking, because it's just not going to fit. Anyway, that's Friday the 16th. Let's move on to Saturday the 17th. Of course, this is when we're going to have Venus moving into Aquarius. We can see Venus here at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So let me just see here. I feel like it's relating also to Uranus and Venus's sign of Taurus, as Uranus rules Aquarius. So they're in each other's sign. What I'm getting is that mutual reception kind of an energy, even though Uranus is retrograde. This is going to be relating to a lot of larger shifts and a lot of what I feel like is grander changes that I see coming, they feel very positive, but they're very like, I'm just going to say they're very large shifts and changes that are coming. That's all I'm going to say about that, because of course we as physical beings have to have the physical experience. So that's all that I'm going to get with that. Okay? That being said, we're also going to have, before Venus moves into Aquarius, Venus is going to be in sextile to Neptune. Of course, she's still in an out-of-sign sextile as she moves into Aquarius, but that peaks as when she was still in Capricorn. So Venus in sextile to Neptune. What I feel like is there's this negative energy they're struggling to maintain some kind of aspect of control through people, through whatever. And it's just like, what I'm getting is it's just being allowed to play out, because this is like their last, what it feels like is it's just going to fizzle out. It's like just letting whatever like run its course or run out, and event they're just gonna like fall, whatever this negative energy is just going to fall flat on its face, is what I feel like. And it's just what I feel like is it's being allowed to play out. So they're trying to whatever cover it up, or use certain people in whatever way. That's what it kind of feels like to me. And it's just simply not going to, what I get is the people of the light standing there, and this negative stuff is happening and chaos all in front of them. And then it's just going to fall flat in their face, right at their feet. And they're just going to be like, you just gave us everything and showed who you really are and the bad people involved. And we're just going to escort you away right now. Like, that's all that it was. It's this big show of them trying to maintain control, but they just fell flat on their face, is what it feels with that. We're also going to have the sun here that will also be in sextile to Saturn. How do I feel with this? This almost like gives rise to that more hidden positive structure that is sitting there stern and in their power, from a more loving perspective that is just there. It's almost like it's seen more now on its own. It's like the light is almost taken a step back to allow whatever that's dark to flounder in front of it, and by just standing there, they are now being more seen in terms of what that structure is, in terms of whatever this craziness is that is just kind of falling apart in whatever way right in front of them. That's what I'm getting with that. Okay. We're also going to have Mercury here in sesqui-square to the south node and in semi-square to the north node. Okay. What I'm getting is now there's an awareness. There's more of an awareness now of this new direction in which we're moving forward in, by maybe the people or whoever, by whatever that floundering was of that negative energy. That awareness that has been made, and what it feels like is collectively people are maybe setting more boundaries in an individual level or internally towards certain things. It's like, okay, I'm not going to do this. Is obviously not serving us. This is what obviously was wrong. We saw this fall apart right in front of us. I'm not doing this anymore. But it's not necessarily going to maybe be fully seen on a whole level, but it'll be internally what a lot of people maybe are going through in terms of letting go what they once thought was practical or whatever in that sense, and now kind of maybe understands more the direction that we need to move forward in, or seeing things in a certain way with this in whatever way. Okay, we're also going to have the Sun will be in trine to Uranus retrograde here. It feels like whatever the floundering of this dark negative energy is now seeing and highlighting really where we need to make these shifts and changes going forward. These big shifts and changes that already really should have started, but are now being seen and more aware of by what it feels like is more of a collective majority. And now I feel like this also relates to Venus being in Aquarius too, with that mutual reception with Uranus. In terms of the big changes that are needing to be made, it's almost like allowing this negative energy to show itself and fall flat on its face and awaken people up on their own, and seeing now what they have tried to cover up in a sense is now actually a force of light that was really the truth, or going against them, and people are beginning to now maybe see this a bit more in whatever way, and seeing the big shifts and changes that are actually needing to be made. It's like progress is somehow being made with that this week in whatever way. But anyway, that Saturday we've reached the end of the week here. If you've made it this far in the video, leave a purple heart in the comments so that I know you're a real one. If you're looking to understand this on a more personal level, wanting to get a personal reading with me, those links are in the description below, or you can just head on over to my website, mysticalmark.ca, and I hope to see you all in next week's video. Take care, everyone. Bye for now. Bye.